Please, she's fading. You're the only one who can help her. The voice trembled, not through air, but through the glass of a containment wall glowing with alien light. Captain Eli Varon, still in his torn Earth uniform, stared at the figure before him. An alien mother whose tears shimmered like liquid silver under the pale blue glow of her world. Behind her, a fragile figure lay motionless on a crystal slab. Her skin, once luminous, flickered like dying starlight. The chamber hummed like a heartbeat. Strange glyphs pulsed along the walls, whispering in tones beyond language. Outside the crystalline window, an ocean of stars shimmered, yet none so bright as the fear in the Queen's eyes. Eli stepped closer, his boots echoing in the hollow silence. "You said your healers failed," he murmured, scanning the consoles that floated midair. "What makes you think I can do what they couldn't?" Queen Leora's voice cracked. "Because the energy that is killing her was awakened by you." The words froze him. A cold wind seemed to blow through the chamber, though there was none. His pulse quickened. "That's impossible. I only activated the distress beacon. I didn't—" The advisor, Lord Theron, cut in sharply. "Your technology corrupted the hardcore, human. You came from the wreck that fell from the black sky. Your world's machines are poison to ours." The Queen silenced him with a glare. "Enough. He saved hundreds of our citizens from the reactor storm. He's not our enemy." Then softer, almost breaking, "Please, Captain. Help her and I'll grant you anything. Anything you desire." Eli's eyes fell upon the princess. Her chest rose weakly. Her fingers twitched as faint light escaped her veins like threads of dawn. There was something hauntingly human in her fragility. "Let me see the source," he said finally. They led him through corridors of silver glass that pulsed with quiet light. Each wall reflected him, a solitary man among beings whose beauty was carved from the stars. Yet beneath their grace he sensed fear, not just of loss, but of him. The heart-core chamber was unlike anything he'd seen. A sphere of radiant crystal floated mid-air, its light dim and sputtering. Pulses of energy arced out like lightning, dissolving against invisible barriers. "She was connected to this," the Queen whispered. "Her life thread merged with the core during the storm. When your craft entered orbit, the resonance shattered balance. Now the core feeds on her." Eli felt the weight of guilt press down on him. He didn't understand their technology fully, but the readings, the harmonics, they hinted at something biological, almost living. He approached the console, fingers hovering over symbols that translated in his visor as life, bond, memory. His engineer's mind whirled. "You said she merged with it. Was it voluntary?" The Queen hesitated. "She did it to protect us. When the storm began, she linked her essence to the core to stabilize it. She saved Velara, and now Velara is killing her," Eli said quietly. The lights dimmed, the hum deepened. For a heartbeat, the princess's pulse, visible through the monitor, flatlined. "No," the Queen cried out, pressing her hands to the glass. Eli's instincts kicked in. "Get me access now." He tore open a panel, rerouting the translator into his wristpad. Data surged across the holographic interface. Frequencies, life patterns, electromagnetic resonance, alien yet decipherable through sheer pattern logic. "Her life field's collapsing," shouted Theron. Eli's voice was steel. "Then we stabilize it. Human tech or not, I can bridge it." He connected the pulse emitter from his damaged suit to the core, tuning it with trembling precision. The chamber roared. Sparks danced. For a second, everything went white. When the light faded, Selene's pulse returned. Weak but steady. Queen Leora fell to her knees, eyes glistening. "You did it," Eli, breathing hard, whispered. "No, I just bought time. She's still fading, just slower." He turned toward the Queen. "I'll need to go inside the core itself." Theron stepped back, alarmed. "No human has ever survived that." Eli met his gaze. "Then I'll be the first." And for the first time, the alien Queen looked at him not as an intruder, but as hope. "You'll die if you go in there." "Human." Lord Theron's warning echoed through the luminous chamber, but Eli didn't look back. His eyes were locked on the sphere, the heart core, pulsing faintly like a dying star. "I'll die if I don't try," Eli answered, his tone steady. "And so will she." Queen Leora's fingers trembled as she touched the glass barrier separating them. "If you fail, the core could consume both of you, and Velara may never recover." Eli's lips twitched into a faint, weary smile. "Then I'll have to make sure I don't fail." The hum of the core deepened, vibrating through the floor and into his bones. Eli felt his pulse sync with the rhythm, slow, resonant, heavy with unseen meaning. He turned to his wristpad, its holographic screen flickering between human and alien symbols. His translator couldn't keep up with the living code of the core. Behind him, the Queen whispered to her guard, "Prepare the containment seal. If his body collapses, recover what remains." Theron frowned. "He's risking the lives of our people for one girl." Queen Leora's gaze darkened. "No, he's risking his life for her." Eli took a deep breath. "Initiate link," he commanded, and his wristpad obeyed with a low chime. The emitter connected, sending tendrils of blue light from his suit into the core's surface. The energy rippled like liquid glass, pulling him closer. For a heartbeat, he hesitated. Then he stepped forward and vanished into light. The world around him dissolved. He was floating in a sea of glowing threads, currents of thought and memory, twisting like ribbons of color through endless space. Voices whispered, some familiar, some alien. He saw fragments, cities of crystal, skies alive with auroras, faces smiling and fading. At the center of it all, Princess Selene. She was suspended in the current, her body glowing faintly, her hair drifting like strands of silver mist. Her eyes were closed, her expression calm, too calm. Eli drifted toward her, every motion heavy as though time itself thickened here. "Selene," his voice was swallowed by the light. "Can you hear me?" Her eyelids fluttered faintly. A whisper brushed his mind. "You shouldn't have come here, human," he froze. The words weren't spoken. They resonated inside his thoughts, gentle but echoing with sadness. "I came to bring you back," he said aloud, voice trembling. "Your mother's waiting. It's too late. The core has bound itself to me. If you try to sever it, both of us will fade." Eli clenched his fists. "I've broken harder chains than this," but she smiled faintly, tired, fragile. "You don't understand. This isn't just energy. It's memory. Every soul of Velara flows through the core. If you pull me out, their balance collapses." Eli's heart pounded. "Then I'll find another way. I didn't come across half a galaxy to stand here and give up." The threads around them began to darken. The luminous current pulsed violently. Her voice quivered. "It's awakening again. The storm energy. You brought it back." "I can handle it," he said through gritted teeth, adjusting the regulator on his suit. His visor flared, mapping waves of alien code. "Just tell me what you feel, where it's strongest. The resonance and behind me," she murmured, and her light dimmed again. Eli reached through the energy, his hands brushing the glowing filaments that connected her body to the core. Each touch burned like fire, yet he pressed on, feeling his strength drain with every heartbeat. "Come on. Hold on, Princess." Her breathing slowed. A tremor of fear gripped his chest. She was slipping away. He activated the emergency transfer, his life force pulse generator, designed to stabilize wounded soldiers. Human tech wasn't meant for alien biology, but it was all he had. The surge hit them both like a thunderclap. The light flared white. Selene gasped, her first real breath in hours. Her hand reached out, trembling, finding his. Her eyes opened. For a moment, they weren't alien at all. They were human, filled with gratitude, confusion, and pain. "Eli," she whispered aloud this time. "You're burning yourself." He grinned faintly. "Then I'll burn bright enough for both of us." The core's pulse spiked, shaking the chamber outside. Alarms blared. Theron shouted, the humans destabilizing the energy field. Queen Leora stood motionless, eyes fixed on the glowing sphere. "No," she whispered, voice trembling. "He's saving her." Inside, Eli's vision blurred. The threads that bound Selene began to unravel, one by one, dissolving into light. Her body grew lighter, freer. But he felt his own heartbeat fading, his systems overloading. "Stop." Her voice echoed in panic. "You'll die." Eli smiled weakly. "If dying means you live, that's a good trade." The core flared so bright the chamber outside lit up like a newborn sun. And then, silence. When the light faded, the heart core dimmed to a tranquil blue. The Queen rushed forward, her breath caught. Selene lay upon the platform, alive, glowing faintly. But Eli Varen was gone. Only his cracked wristpad remained, pulsing once with a final line of text, "Transfer complete. Priority, life restored." The chamber was silent. Queen Leora fell to her knees beside Princess Selene, tears streaming freely down her silver-flecked cheeks. Selene blinked, alive and whole, yet still trembling. Her small hands clutched the blanket wrapped around her, as if trying to anchor herself to reality. Theron's face was pale, a mixture of awe and dread. He didn't come back, he muttered, barely audible. Selene's voice was fragile. "Mother, where is he?" Leora pressed a hand to her chest, gasping for breath, torn between grief and relief. I don't know." Outside the chamber, alarms had ceased. The heart core hummed softly, a gentle, even pulse. The threads of energy that had once bound Selene now lay dormant, flowing calmly as if waiting for a new guardian. Theron turned to the Queen. "The human has fused himself. Somehow, he may still exist inside the core, but we cannot reach him. If he survives, it is only through his own will." Leora's gaze hardened, determination mingling with sorrow. "Then we must protect him. If he sacrificed himself for my daughter, he deserves more than to vanish into our systems forever." Selene's small voice interrupted the heavy air. "Mother, I felt him. I could hear him inside me. Inside the core, he was guiding me, protecting me. I felt his hands, though he wasn't there." Leora nodded. "He is part of the core now. His essence intertwined with the energy that sustains this planet. That human, he's more than a man. He's a savior." Selene's eyes widened. But will he ever come back?" Theron shook his head, though his tone carried a grudging respect. "No one knows. The core chooses who may return, if ever, but humans are different. Perhaps his will is strong enough." A distant hum grew louder, unnoticed at first. Then a single thread of light from the core spiraled outward, shimmering in hues that no alien had ever seen before. Leora's eyes caught it immediately. "Selene, look." The princess watched as the thread danced through the chamber, forming the outline of a man's figure. Though incomplete, fleeting, it radiated warmth and strength. "It's him," she whispered. "He's here, somehow." Eli's consciousness swirled within the core. The world around him had changed, no longer just threads of energy, but a fluid mass of memories, thoughts, and possibilities. He could sense every living being on Velara, every pattern of energy, and yet he could feel Selene's heartbeat. Weak, but steady. Precious. He had entered the core to save her, and in doing so had become its unwilling custodian. Every flicker of the heart core's pulse now echoed his own thoughts. Every danger to the planet felt like a shock to his nerves. He was alive, he realized. But not as he was before. His human body was gone, or suspended somewhere beyond comprehension. But his mind, his will, remained. He could reach out, guide, protect. He could save Selene and perhaps one day return. But the cost weighed heavily on him. "Every choice I make now touches more than one life. Every misstep could kill her, or destroy them all." Back in the chamber, Queen Leora and Selene stared at the slowly coalescing figure of Eli's light. It shimmered, pulsing in rhythm with Selene's own heartbeat, as if reminding them that life and hope were intertwined. "He's alive?" Selene asked, voice trembling. Leora nodded. "Yes, but not in the way we understand. He is now part of the core itself, a guardian, a sentinel, and perhaps one day he will find his way back to us." Theron finally spoke, softer than before. "If any human could survive this, it is him. I misjudged him. He is not only courageous, but extraordinary." The princess reached out toward the light. "Eli, if you can hear me, I want you to come back. I need you to come back." The thread of light flickered, shimmering with quiet warmth, and for a moment, it was as if Eli's essence reached toward her hand. Inside the core, Eli's mind trembled. He felt her, so fragile, so human, and something unbreakable surged within him. "I won't let you die," I promised. "And I'll keep that promise, no matter what it takes outside," the Queen whispered. "He is part of our world now, and perhaps the world itself has become part of him." A storm of thought swirled, unanswered questions hanging in the air. How much had he changed? Could he return fully? And most pressing, how long could he endure being the core's sentinel while maintaining his humanity? For now, one thing was certain. Princess Selene lived, thanks to a human who had stepped beyond the boundaries of life itself. And the core waited, silent but alive, for the next choice he would make. The light of the heart core shimmered against the walls of the chamber, a serene blue that belied the chaos still lurking beneath. Outside, Velara's citizens were cautiously returning to normal life. unaware of the battle waged in invisible threads of energy. But inside, Queen Leora paced, restless, her mind tangled with worry. Selene sat on the crystalline platform, her hands clasped tightly. Mother, he's part of the core now. But I feel something different. He's not just saving me anymore, he's watching everything. Leora's silver-flecked fingers rested on Selene's shoulder. Yes, child. He bears more than just your life in his hands. Every pulse of our planet, every heartbeat of our people, he feels it all. Theron, always the skeptic, muttered under his breath, a human as a planetary sentinel. Adness. Yet even he could not deny the flicker of energy that occasionally coalesced into Eli's outline, a reminder that the human engineer had transcended all understanding. Inside the core, Eli's perception had expanded beyond the limits of flesh. He felt the pulse of every crystal, the flow of every life, and even the whispers of Velara's ancient past. But with this expansion came danger. Threads of corrupted energy, remnants of the storm and the heart core's own instability slithered through the matrix. He followed a twisting path of crimson light, a distortion unlike any he had seen. It pulsed with intent, almost alive. This isn't natural, he thought. The core is reacting. Something is trying to feed off it. Suddenly a voice, alien, cold, and distant, echoed through his consciousness. Human. You should not have entered, Eli tensed. Who's there? I am what was left behind. The core's shadow, the echo of what it consumed before. You cannot repair what was broken. Eli clenched his mind around the threat, feeling the pulse of Selene nearby, fragile and unprotected. I don't need to repair. I need to protect. You will not touch her, the shadow hissed. Protect? You cannot even protect yourself. Soon the resonance will collapse and all life tethered to the core will unravel. Eli gritted his teeth, feeling his energy ripple with the warning. Every fraction of his human essence strained under the core's pressure, yet he refused to retreat. Then I'll fight. I've saved her once. I can do it again. Outside, Leora sensed the core tremble. Crystals along the chamber walls quivered, echoing a faint, sinister vibration. Something's wrong, she whispered, eyes narrowing. It's not just the aftermath of the storm. It's reacting to him, Theron frowned. The human is integrated. Perhaps the core senses an external threat only he can confront. But can he endure it? Selene's fingers hovered over the glowing platform. I can feel him. He's fighting, and he's afraid. Leora's eyes softened. Fear is human. But courage. Courage is what keeps us alive. Within the core, Eli traced the crimson distortion. It twisted around the stabilizing currents, feeding on their energy. A parasite, a memory of destruction left in the system. It wants to consume everything Selene and I fought for. He reached out, shaping a countercurrent from his own essence. Threads of brilliant blue met the crimson, sparking and hissing, colliding like storms. The shadow screeched in pain and fury, pulling back, but it was relentless. I have to contain it, Eli muttered, sweat, if he still had the human sense of it, dripping from his brow. Or she dies, and the core dies, and everything collapses. Selene's pulse accelerated. Her life force and the core's natural rhythm were linked more tightly than ever. Any misstep could be fatal. Eli pushed himself harder, pouring every bit of human ingenuity and will into the task. His thoughts ran like lightning, calculating patterns, predicting movements, improvising solutions in real time. Just hold on, Selene. Just a little longer. The crimson distortion twisted violently, striking at his very consciousness, but he formed a shield of energy drawn from the core itself. Sparks of light collided, crackling like celestial thunder, and then, a sudden calm. The distortion recoiled and dissolved into nothingness, leaving the current stable. Eli's body, or what remained of his human form, shuddered, exhausted beyond imagining. He could feel Selene's heartbeat returning to a steady rhythm, the core pulsing evenly once more. She's safe, for now. Outside, Leora exhaled deeply, tears of relief sliding down her face. Selene sank against her, still trembling. He's fighting in there. He saved me again. He's more than human. Theron looked at the Queen, awe breaking through his stoicism. Perhaps we underestimated what a human can endure. A faint glow from the core coalesced into Eli's outline, flickering but unbroken. His presence lingered, a guardian in the light. Yet the strain of his fusion was visible even to those outside. And somewhere, deep inside the living heart core, Eli whispered silently to himself. I won't let anything take her from me. Not the core, not this world, not even time. The core pulsed steadily, alive, and the first threads of dawn began to illuminate Velara's skies. The first light of Velara's twin suns spilled across the crystalline city, painting the towers in hues of gold and sapphire. Life had returned to a fragile normal, but within the palace unease lingered. Princess Selene sat in the throne room, her gaze distant, fingers tracing the intricate carvings of the crystal floor. Queen Leora stood beside her, silent, sensing that something had changed, not in the core, but in the balance of their world. Mother. Selene's voice trembled. I feel it. A shadow lurking. It's not inside the core. It's outside, waiting. Leora's eyes narrowed. You mean an approaching threat? Theron stepped forward, his brow furrowed. We have no record of external interference since the storm. The core stabilized. Everything should be calm. Selene shook her head. It's different. I can feel him, Eli. He's reaching out, warning me. Something is coming, and it's big. Inside the core, Eli's consciousness stretched farther than ever. He was no longer just a guardian. He was the pulse of Velara, sensing every anomaly, every shift of energy. And now, a cold, jagged streak ran across the planet's network, a disturbance he had not created. It hissed at him, sharp and bitter. You cannot stop me, it whispered, not in words, but in thought. Your core cannot protect them forever. Eli's mind snapped to attention. He traced the streak. It was external, massive, intelligent. Not the remnants of the storm, not a parasite, but something alive, sentient, and it moved with purpose toward Velara. It senses Selene, he realized, and perhaps me. He tried to warn her, to send a fragment of his consciousness out through the threads connecting her to the core. Danger approaches. Prepare. Selene shivered, sensing the warning as a tremor in her chest, faint but undeniable. Mother, it's coming. Eli says it's near. We must. Before she could finish, the palace trembled. The ground beneath them quivered violently, dust falling from the crystal ceilings. A low, resonant hum filled the air, unnatural, almost alive. Theron's voice cut through panic. That frequency, it's not from Velara. It's approaching from orbit. Queen Leora's eyes went wide. No, it can't be. The storm destroyed everything in this sector. Nothing should have survived. Selene's hands trembled. It's stronger than before. And faster, Eli. What should we do? Prepare them, he sent, a pulse of resolve flowing through the core and reaching her mind. I will hold it as long as I can, but you must survive. Trust your instincts. High above, in orbit, a shadowed fleet emerged, cloaked in energy fields that twisted light like liquid metal. They moved silently, yet their presence pressed down on Velara like a storm of cold. Eli traced their path, feeling their intent. An invasion, precise and unrelenting. They want her. They know she is linked to the core. They will not stop. He realized the horrifying truth. The core had always been a beacon. Not just a source of life, but a signal. Selene's survival had attracted attention beyond the storm. And now, the universe had eyes on Velara. I cannot protect them all alone, Eli thought, but I can give them time. In the palace, Selene's heart pounded. Mother, the core. It's glowing differently. It's him. He's warning us, he's preparing. Leora grabbed her hand. Then we must prepare too. If Eli is holding the line, we cannot be helpless. Theron barked orders to the palace guards, activating defense protocols and reinforcing energy barriers. Crystalline towers shivered under the approaching fleet's presence, the atmosphere thick with tension. Outside, the twin suns reflected off the approaching shadows, revealing ships larger than anything Velara had known, their surfaces rippling with dark energy. Selene clenched her fists. Eli, we can't see you, but I feel you. Hold them, please. Hold them. And deep inside the core, Eli's essence surged, connecting with every thread of energy across the planet. His voice whispered to Selene, calm yet firm, I will hold them. But this fight is only beginning. The shadows drew nearer. Velara's sky darkened, and for the first time, the queen feared that even a human hero might not be enough. The skies above Velara darkened as the shadow fleet approached, rippling like black water across the horizon. Citizens fled and alarms echoed through crystalline corridors. Yet inside the palace, all attention was on the glowing core, where Eli's essence pulsed fiercely, resonating like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Selene stood with her mother at the balcony, eyes wide. He's shining brighter. I can feel him. Fighting. Leora nodded, her silver-flecked hair flickering in the strange light. Yes, he is holding them back, but the strain is visible. Selene, we must do what we can to aid him. Theron's hands moved quickly over a holographic console. We can reinforce energy barriers, redirect power from the city grid. But it may not be enough against that fleet. Selene, his gaze hardened. Then we have to do more. The core is alive, and so is he. If I can link with him, maybe we can strengthen him together. Leora looked alarmed. It is dangerous. Your essence is tied to the core. Any mistake could harm you or him. Selene's eyes glimmered with determination. I don't care. I will not stand by while he fights alone. Inside the core, Eli felt the first waves of the enemy's assault. Their energy was alien, corrosive, designed to destabilize life threads. He reached out, weaving currents of light around Selene's link to protect her. But each pulse of the invaders tore at his own form. Focus, Eli. Hold the core steady, he whispered to himself. If it collapses, everything dies. Her, me, the planet. The fleet struck with precision, and Eli could feel the core shudder under their assault. He twisted his energy, forming shields, deflecting streams of dark power. But the strain grew unbearable. His human memory, muscle, intuition, courage kept him grounded, even as his essence stretched across the planet. Selene. I need you, he sent, a pulse that carried both warning and reassurance. You are the anchor. Together we can survive this. Back on the palace balcony, Selene closed her eyes, reaching inward toward the core. She felt Eli's presence, strong, exhausted, pushing back against the incoming storm. She focused, sending her own pulse into him, lending warmth, resilience, and courage. A sudden jolt surged through the core. Light erupted like a second sun. The fleet's dark energy struck, but the combined human and alien will twist it into a radiant shield. Ships recoiled, arcs of energy snapping across the sky. Theron shouted, By the ancients, the core is fighting back. The human, he's manipulating it from within. Leora's eyes glimmered with tears. And our princess. She is part of it. Together they are stronger than anything I have ever seen. The Shadow Fleet regrouped, relentless. Eli felt the core's threads fraying at the edges. Too many. I cannot hold them all, he thought, panic brushing at his mind for the first time. Selene, now. He drew every pulse of energy through the core toward Selene's link, amplifying her presence. A brilliant surge of light shot outward, a tidal wave of pure life force. Ships shattered against it, energy ripping through their forms, dissolving them into nothingness. Selene's vision blurred from the strain. Yet she did not falter. I will not let him fall, she thought, her mind merging with his in the core. We fight together. A moment of silence followed, broken only by the core's even, steady pulse. Outside, the sky cleared. The fleet was gone, vanished, or destroyed, but a residual tremor of the energy ripple lingered, echoing the immense battle that had just occurred. In the core, Eli's essence was exhausted. He felt the threads of his being stretch thinner than ever. Yet he sensed Selene's pulse, her warmth and determination still intertwined with his own. We did it. Together, he thought, relief washing through him despite the fatigue. Back in the palace, Selene opened her eyes, breathing heavily. He's still there. I can feel him.
He's alive!
Queen Leora stepped forward, tears in her eyes, placing a hand over her daughter's. Yes, and he saved you. And Velara. He is extraordinary. More than we could have imagined. Theron nodded silently, respect etched into every line of his face. A human, who became the heart of our planet. Selene gazed at the now calm core, whispering softly, Thank you, Eli, wherever you are. And deep within the core, Eli's essence shimmered faintly in response, a quiet heartbeat resonating through Velara, a promise that he had survived and would always watch over them. The palace was silent. Velara's citizens cautiously emerged, blinking against the soft glow of dawn reflected on crystalline towers. Life had returned, but something profound had shifted. The heart core pulsed gently as if sighing after the storm, and the faint outline of Eli's essence shimmered within its center. Princess Selene stood beside Queen Leora, gazing at the core. He's still there. He didn't come back, but he's... Alive, she whispered. Her hand hovered over the crystal, feeling the faint warmth of his presence. Leora's silver-flecked eyes softened. Yes, my daughter. He chose to stay, not because he had to, but because he wanted to protect everything he saved. His heart is now part of Velara. Theron, usually stern and calculating, finally allowed awe to touch his expression. A human has become the guardian of our world. Extraordinary. Selene's pulse quickened. Then he's watching us. He's watching me. Can I talk to him? The core pulsed once brighter, and a faint melodic hum resonated through the palace. A language of thought, emotion, and memory all at once. It carried a single message, clear and gentle. I am here. You are safe, always. Tears streamed down Selene's face. Eli, you stayed with us. With me. Thank you. Inside the core, Eli felt the warmth of her gratitude like sunlight warming cold metal. He could not speak in human words, could not leave the core fully, but he could feel her. Every heartbeat, every tremor of fear, every flicker of hope. I will not leave you. Not now, not ever, he sent, his essence wrapping around her link. Outside, life began to hum again. Citizens rebuilt, children laughed, and the once ominous towers sparkled in a renewed light. Yet everyone who saw the core alive, humming with subtle brilliance, knew that Velara had changed. A human had sacrificed his corporeal form to become their world's guardian. Selene turned to her mother. Mother, can he ever come back fully? Leora took her daughter's hands. Perhaps not as he was, but he is here in every pulse of our planet, in every thread of energy. His courage, his humanity, it will remain, and that is more than any of us could ever ask. Theron stepped forward, hesitant but sincere. It seems humans are capable of more than we ever imagined. Courage, loyalty, love. He has given all of it to us. Selene's gaze returned to the core. Then we'll protect him too. We'll make sure he's never alone. A soft ripple of light shimmered from the core, almost like a nod, a promise. And for the first time, the princess felt complete peace. Eli had saved her, Velara, and in doing so had become something extraordinary, something eternal. Days passed, and life slowly returned to normal. The palace held ceremonies honoring the bravery of all who survived the storm. But the greatest tribute remained silent, the core steady and glowing, a quiet testament to human resilience and love. Selene often sat by the core, placing her hand lightly upon it, feeling the faint warmth of the human who had become its heart. Thank you, she whispered every day, her voice carrying through the threads of energy. And somewhere, deep within the living core, Eli's consciousness pulsed back, a heartbeat in the heart of Velara. He was more than human now, yet still entirely himself, courageous, compassionate, unyielding. The alien queen watched her daughter, then the core, and a small, grateful smile touched her lips. Anything we could ask? He has given us more than that. He gave us humanity itself. And so, on a world that had known storms and shadows, hope endured. A human hero remained, not in form but in spirit, forever a part of Velara's story. A reminder that courage, sacrifice, and love could transcend even the boundaries of life itself.